going on, everybody? So yes, of course, as you saw, USC once again up at halftime, 20-6, kind of in control in that first half, doing whatever they wanted, running the ball and causing turnovers and mayhem at home. So it looked pretty good. All they had to do was score a couple more times, which is what they did. But sadly, once again, not enough, losing 30-33 in overtime to Penn State, number 4 team in the country. So would have been a big time upset, in my opinion. But yeah, sadly, USC does not get the job done. I mean, once again, they did not have any help from those Big Ten refs. You'll see in a little short that I put up right here as I'm speaking that there was 2 obvious pass interference calls against that should have been against Penn State's defense in overtime. It was one of those 3 offensive plays that USC had. The referee staring right at it, didn't call it nothing. So of course, USC ends up having to kick for the field goal, and they miss it. And then I already turned it off by then because I already knew Penn State was just going to kick a field goal and end of game. So that's what it ended up being. Yeah, sadly, they lost. Their playoff chances are kind of shot. So I'm pretty sure they're not going to make even the final 12 anymore unless they somehow went undefeated. I guess you can make the argument there for a 9-3 Big Ten team, especially with one of the toughest schedules out there in the country. But it's going to be tough sledding if they're going to be able to get the rest of this schedule and go undefeated. But yeah, I mean, the only positive thing is that the recruits, especially in the 25 and 26 classes, had a lot of good things to say. They love the environment. Even one player said, I think it was Tyler Atkinson, the 4-star linebacker, said it had like gladiator feels in that Coliseum for obvious reasons. But everybody loved the atmosphere. It was popping, as they say, and everybody, at least the younger generation, knows and sees what USC is doing on the field. And as long as they have that impression in their head that if they just join up on the team and add that little bit of extra help in the future, then USC should easily win a lot of these games. But yeah, I mean, USC had a chance to win at the very end of that, for pretty much the fourth quarter. Miller Moss threw that ball a little bit high to Deuce Robinson. It should have been an easy catch, and if he catches that, that's an easy field goal. And USC probably does win there, even though their kicker had just missed at some point in the game. But at least they have a chance to win before overtime. But I think he ended up throwing an interception on that play because the ball was tipped. But either way, like I said, a little bit of positive momentum because the very next day on Sunday, they got a commitment from a 2026 4-star edge in Braeden Jones. So yeah, he chose USC over Notre Dame and Ohio State. So that's pretty good because he's from the Midwest and like the Illinois area. So most of those guys just end up going to Notre Dame or even maybe Ohio State. So yeah, luckily USC as of this second has his commitment. So that was fun to see. And then even on Monday, they were able to flip a 3-star cornerback or safety in Stephen Miller. I believe he was committed to Mississippi State, which is an SEC school, but now it looks like he has flipped to USC. Excuse me, and he is in the 2025 class, so he'll be coming before Jones. But yeah, either way, at least somewhat positive stuff, especially from the future recruiting, as I said. But gotta still do a lot of work to keep a lot of these guys because they did end up losing a 4-star in the 2026 class, Viliami Moala. He ended up decommitting pretty much the next day, and then I think even today on Monday, he had committed to Oregon. Excuse me, something like that. So, yeah, it kind of sucked because I think with Jones's commitment, USC's class in 2026 did jump up to like number 1, but I think because they lost a 4-star in Moala, and then he signed with Oregon, who was like number 2 at the time. I think they're number 1. So USC still has the number 2 class in 2026. So either way, it's at least trending positively right now. And even that 5-star edge defensive lineman in 2025, Elijah Griffin, is going to be committing this week on October 18th, if I'm not mistaken. And I know it's USC, Georgia, and Miami. So a 33.33% chance of them getting selected. So hopefully that is the case, and hopefully we hear some good news later this week. But yeah, kind of holding out hope here. And as I mentioned, even ESPN's Football Power Index still has USC ranked as the number 13 team in the country because yeah, they do have 3 losses, but even in those 3 losses, it's only by a combined score of like 13 points. So they're in every single game. They have a chance. They're kind of just beating themselves up and not getting any help from the refs as well, because they called certain plays against USC during the game, but not against Penn State, even though Penn State just did the same exact thing, whether it was early in the game or late in the game. I don't know why the refs are so inconsistent with USC when it comes to plays down the stretch, but that's what they have to deal with right now. There was like a Iowa running back who did enter the transfer portal this week, LaShawn Williams, and he said he's heard from like 15 plus schools, and USC is actually one of those schools. So at least they're trying to poach from players that are leaving teams that are going to be on their future schedule and stuff. So hopefully he does end up picking USC so he can have a very nice game against his old team in Iowa, because I'm pretty sure USC plays them within the next year or so. So hopefully they can end up getting this transfer portal running back. And yes, the crosstown rivalry was alive and well this last Sunday in the women's volleyball side, where USC luckily did beat UCLA 3-2. It's a full game. I think even UCLA had the advantage at 2-1 in games, but USC came back to win those final 2 games, so very happy about that. It's always a good day/weekend when you end up beating your crosstown rival, so I'm not mad about that result at all. And then even the women's soccer team still is doing very good, and I believe still undefeated in Big Ten play, beating Northwestern today 2-1. So yeah, congrats to them. Hopefully they can still continue to move up those coaches' polls. And then speaking of my Chargers, yes, that happened to play out for their bye week the past week, and now this week they're on the road in Denver. And I think at some point, the end of the third quarter, they were winning this game 23-0. And that was pretty surprising because of how many injuries they kept accumulating, even with some guys that were just coming back, and then now they were back off again with injuries, and some new guys popped up as well. But of course, luckily, they were able to still keep this victory 23-16 versus Denver. So yeah, they didn't score any more points in the fourth, but yes, luckily held off some like garbage play touchdowns. So either way, I guess you could say it's a nice victory in the end. But yeah, hopefully they can still continue to play a little bit better. I don't really have anything else other than they did sign a ex-cornerback and Eli Apple to their practice squad, because I guess there were some more injuries on that defensive side, especially at that cornerback position. So hopefully it's nothing too serious. I still haven't even gotten into the highlights. I just have them queued up right now on my YouTube TV app, so I'm going to watch those after I do this video. Check it out a little bit more in depth, but yeah, hopefully I won't get too pissed off watching a victory by my team, but I guess this is how it goes sometimes. It's never easy for a lot of my teams. So yes, thanks for watching, people. Like and subscribe. Comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. Have a great rest of your day. Bye. Fight on. Let's go Bolts.